Wow. That is absolutely crazy. I mean, they don't even look that hyped. I'm hyped. That was a crazy game. That was so back and forth.
Oh,
They kept their cool. Liquid does not look too happy with that. I think they knew they had the game, but amazing to actually take that such small, narrow window of opportunity and actually coming back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, when the games get like that, and you know, your experience multiple times, I'm sure you've been in situations where it's been that crazy. Like, it's interesting that they went for the tier 3s and then they went back for the tier 4s.
Yeah, definitely. That was like, you need some composure to kind of make that decision, because right there, it's like there's a lot of pressure on you. But I think what started all of this and what made this possible was the catapult play.
Right.
Which they did, which, you know, it was sick. It was really well done, and I'm super pumped to see like Thunder actually taking a game from one of potentially the favorites coming into this.
I want to ask you first of all, what happened in that game? The Team Liquid, what happened?
Yeah, go through all of it.
The whole storyline, please.
I mean, it was kind of crazy, right? Like at the start of the game, you saw that kill onto Dark Mago in the mid lane, basically solo from Mickey's Mars. And at the time, I was saying to Jenkins, I don't think there's recovering from this as a Batrider. It was a disastrous start. And then somehow he recovers, ends up just making play after play after play with his team, and they just... I don't know how it ended at the end. Like, they just ended up coming back in an incredible fashion, just right through the mid lane. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, me neither. Jenkins?
Those are the sort of Dota games that, like, see, Dota's a bit like gambling. All right, let me tell you. You keep pulling on the slot machine, and everything's a loss, and then you get a big win, and that's why you keep playing. That's how Dota is. It's like, that's the sort of game that if you're in it, either you're on the losing team, and you're just like, I'm done with this game.
Right.
Or you're on the winning team, and you're like, this is the greatest game
and you
ever made.
forget about those 9 losses.
You forget about the 9 losses before that, the minus 600 MMR. It doesn't matter. It's all about that one win. What an insane game. I was back and forth both ways.
Absolutely. We're not... Just quickly, we've got this replay. You asked for this when we were in the green room. You were like, this is the thing I want to talk about. So here's your replay. Talk about this.
Yeah, let me just look at the replay.
When we get the replay, let's get that replay, baby.
Yeah, I was watching Sacred on a Snapfire because that's one of my favorite heroes to play from the offlane. South America does love it. Look at him going in with the cookie, quickly blinking out, and then using a big ulti on top of that. There were a couple of these fights that kind of allowed them to come back into the game. And also, Thunder Predator, they're really not afraid to use these early buybacks to get the advantage. I feel like every single fight that they feel like they can take, there's going to be at least one buyback, and we can watch all the games because there's multiple games happening.
Of course.
But I can tell you that this is definitely the best game. Like, I don't know what's happening in the other games, but this one was great.
We don't care what's happening in the other games. This is the place to be. I thought it was interesting because up to that point, that was the point where you guys went, damn, and I would like looked around and you guys were like, yeah, these guys are good. And you knew that they had this in their locker, didn't they?
I mean, after that point, there was more throws and more teamfight execution from Liquid, and at Thunder Predator also doing the same sort of teamfight execution where it's like high skill is not a good enough way to even put it, because it's like cookieing in and then blinking out, and you're getting both the value out of your 2 nukes and then the Snapfire ult as well.
Yeah.
It's like, that is supposed to happen in like one team fight in a game of Dota. He did it like 3 or 4 times. There was the IO relocates constantly canceled. There were saves coming out from the Bane. It's like there's a million different things you can talk about. The lasso into fountain. Double lasso into the goddamn fountain. And it's like, you look at it, it's like, oh, what a cute play to delay the game a bit before they lose. They won. They won off of that. I mean, like, that's going to be a top 5 game for the Major. It's just one of those games.
Wow.
It's just one of those games.
Mike, you spoke about the mid matchup. You were talking about how they dumpstered the bat. Let's look. We've got a little player versus player head-to-head. This is Dark Mago versus Mickey's Mars. So that's the KDA.
Wow.
That's not how it looked at the start. That's not how it looked.
I talked to Jenkins in our green room about it. I feel mid Mars, just from what I see, they put themselves in a spot where they like sometimes struggle to like find the right like play style. I feel like offlane Mars just plays better Mars than the mid Mars. And Dark Mago, he's item build, going for that like early BKB, managing to come back into the game, and then getting the refresher. He found the Timeless Relic, Octarine Core, double lasso, just beautiful stuff. And we can see him being active and being like the vocal point of that theme, because it was a good last pick Batrider. It didn't look as good in the first 5 to 10 minutes, but in the end it did pay off.
Yeah.